The Sumerian flood story is one of the oldest stories in human history. It comes from ancient Mesopotamia, especially the civilization of Sumer, and survives in fragments from texts like the Eridu Genesis. Later versions appear in Akkadian and Babylonian works, such as the Epic of Gilgamesh and the Atrahasis. Here's the story from beginning to end in its oldest Sumerian form and related Mesopotamian tradition. Picking up from where we left off in the Eridu Genesis video, the gods held a divine council and agreed that humans should be destroyed, but they swore not to warn mankind. Not all of the gods agreed with the resolution to destroy all of mankind with a flood, but they stayed silent. But one, Enki, who has grown to care deeply for their creation and did not want to see them destroyed. Enki could not defy the divine council or go against the oath of secrecy to destroy all of mankind openly, but he had to warn them. Enki went to a righteous man, Ziusudra, and spoke to him through a reed hut wall. He warned, "A great and massive flood is coming to destroy all of mankind from the gods. Destroy your house and build a boat and save lives." Ziusudra took heed to those words. In Mesopotamian belief, Enki was one of the most respected gods. His words carried enormous authority. If a god gave instructions, especially a wisdom god like Enki, a righteous person was expected to listen carefully. Enki told Ziusudra to build a massive boat, gigantic, with several compartments. Make it strong enough to survive the raging waters. Seal the vessel with pitch and bitumen, and make it capable of carrying life safely through the storm. He told Ziusudra to bring his family, 2 of every wild animal, livestock, and craftsmen. He told him to gather food, supplies, grain, water, tools, and valuable seeds for planting after the flood. The ark was meant to preserve an entire future world inside it, while the old world was destroyed by the flood. Not as drastic, but Enlil has tried to maintain order and population before. He's tried several ways to reduce or control humanity before deciding on total destruction, with plagues, droughts, famine, crop failure, and starvation. He hoped these punishments would reduce and control the human population. But each time, it was Enki. He secretly helped humanity survive by giving wisdom and instructions to the people. He taught humans how to find food, how to pray to certain gods, how to survive drought and famine, and how to overcome the disasters. This angered Enlil even more because humanity kept recovering instead of dying out. Eventually, Enlil decided smaller punishments were not enough and called for the Great Flood to wipe out mankind completely. Then the storm begins. The flood is not just rain, it is cosmic destruction. The rivers overflow, the seas rise, the skies unleash violent storms. Darkness covers the earth. Hurricane winds roar. Even the gods become terrified. Cities destroyed. Kingdoms wiped out. Homes, temples, civilization, all erased. The storm turned the world back into chaos. Ancient Mesopotamians believed creation originally emerged from primordial waters, so the flood symbolized the ordered world collapsing back into those chaotic waters again. The flood lasts 7 days. Humanity is annihilated. All but Ziusudra, his family, craftsmen, and skilled workers. All but the animals, livestock, birds, seeds, and plants. The Ark was, essentially, a floating survival world, a preservation vessel for life, the last remnant of civilization during the destruction. So while the outside world was consumed by storms and floodwaters, inside the Ark, humans, animals, food, knowledge, future life were all being protected together. After the storm ended, the waters slowly became calm. The Ark drifted across the endless sea. To test whether dry land had appeared, birds were released. He sends a dove, a swallow, a raven. When the raven does not come back, that tells him the waters have receded. Land has emerged. The world is becoming habitable again. In the Mesopotamian flood traditions, the Ark landed on Mount Nisir. This mountain was believed to be somewhere east of Mesopotamia, likely in the region of ancient Assyria, the Zagros mountain area. Most scholars connect it roughly to parts of modern northern Iraq or nearby western Iran. After Ziusudra and the survivors came off the Ark, they thanked the gods and offer sacrifices. In some ways, the gods regretted the flood. They have been deprived because of it, and this was their first time receiving praise and offerings since. The smoke from the offerings rose up to the heavens, and Enlil discovers there are survivors. He is enraged that one of the other gods has broken the oath of secrecy to mankind. Enki speaks up and argues that the punishment was too extreme. Not all humanity deserved destruction, and that smaller punishments could have been used instead. Eventually, with the persuasion of his brother, Enlil calms down and accepts the survivors in the new world. Afterward, the survivors begin restoring the world by releasing the animals, planting seeds, rebuilding homes, restoring farming, repopulating humanity, restarting civilization. After the flood, the old world was gone and a new was formed. The relationship between the gods and mankind would change forever. No more would man exist in a more mythic age closer to the gods. They would live under new limitations. Before the flood, humans lived much longer and would multiply rapidly, so that the earth would never again become overcrowded and disruptive. The gods made it so that humans would have shorter lifespans, disease and mortality, infertility for some women, miscarriages and infant death, and women dedicated as priestesses who would not have children. Ziusudra was rewarded with eternal life after surviving the Great Flood and helping preserve humanity, animals, and the future of civilization. The gods honored him for his obedience and wisdom, allowing him to live forever in a distant, sacred place beyond ordinary mankind. The Sumerian flood story can be seen as a story about power and population control, where the gods believed humans had become too many, too loud, and too difficult to control. The flood was used as a reset, and afterward, the gods placed limits on mankind through suffering, mortality, and shorter lifespans to keep humanity manageable. Many people compare this idea to the modern world, where those in power are believed to control populations through fear, unhealthy systems, media, technology, or other hidden methods, while rewarding people who stay obedient and dependent. In both the ancient myths and modern concerns, people who question authority, spread knowledge, and think independently are often viewed as disruptive threats that must be silenced, controlled, or removed.